Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lane Library's live stream. We're here with Sean Cowan from the Butler County Regional Transport Authority, or Transit Authority, and she is here today to tell us all about how to travel with public transportation here in Butler County, Ohio. My name is Amanda Chafin. I am the Public Services Librarian here at the Tech Center, the Lane Community Technology Center in Hamilton, Ohio. So if you have any questions, we will get to those at the end. Until then, I'm going to turn it over to Sean, and she will answer any questions that you might have and give you a little presentation about public transportation here in Butler County.
Thank you, Amanda. Good afternoon. Like Amanda said, I work for the Butler County Regional Transit Authority. I'm the Communications and Outreach Manager. I have a little presentation today that just goes over the various services that we offer. I hear all the time, I just didn't know that. So hopefully I will enlighten you guys today and you'll learn some information that will be really helpful for you. Transportation can definitely be confusing. You know, we don't grow up in a New York City or Chicago where it's just part of our everyday activity. So I want to break it down into parts that make it easy to understand, which it took me a while to when I first started. So Butler County RTA operates three main services, and we're going to get into those in detail. The first one is our fixed routes. The second service is our Bigo service. And then our third service is Paratransit. So fixed routes are exactly what you think of when you think of a public transit system. We run at the same times every day. We go to the same places every day. You have to get on at a bus stop. You have to get off at a bus stop. That's our first system that we operate. So we have services in Hamilton, we operate in Oxford, and we operate in Middletown. And we have regional connections that connect each of the metropolis or municipalities. Sorry, getting my words mixed up there. All of our fixed routes are free of charge to ride, and you can jump on and off as needed. Our second service here is called Bigo. So Bigo, people have a lot of different names for it. We call it Bigo because B is our, for BCRTA, that is our logo. So we call it Bigo, and it's a curb-to-curb service. So what that thing, if you think of Lyft or Uber, we operate very similarly in the fact that we're going to come to your house, we're going to pick you up at your point of origin and drop you off where you need to go. So our curb-to-curb services cover the entire county. We only charge $5 each way, and they are open to the general public. So that means anybody at any time can call up and book a trip with our Bigo services. Bigo is a first come, first serve service. So you can book your trips up to 2 weeks in advance. So if you know you have an appointment coming up, or if you know you want to go to the store, you're going to visit a friend, you can call up and book your trip for whatever reason that you want. You also can attempt to book trips same day. We do try to accommodate trips that are requested in real time. However, if we don't have a driver or a vehicle available at that time, if we're fully booked, that trip could potentially be denied. If you have a trip booked, it's already in the system, you are good to go. We're going to show up, we're going to come, we're going to get you, we're going to take you where you want to go. You can use the service once a day, 10 times a day if you need that for your trip, or you can use it sporadically. It is there as needed. And that is our Bigo services. So also I have a picture here of our Bigo vehicle, but we can use vans, and we also have our larger vehicles that can seat up to 14 people that can come and pick you up. All of our vehicles are clearly recognizable and labeled with Butler County RTA logos, and all of our drivers are very well trained. So it's a great and safe way to travel around, and it's a very enjoyable trip. Our second service that we offer that a lot of people are not aware of is called paratransit services. So paratransit services operate like our fixed route, or like our Bigo system, like our Bigo system, in the fact that it will pick you up at your curb and drop you off at the curb. The way you book your trip is exactly the same. You need to call up and talk to a customer service representative to get your trip scheduled. And trips can also be booked up to 2 weeks in advance and as little as the day before. The differences with paratransit services is that it's an eligible service for individuals that have a disability that prevents them from utilizing the fixed routes. Paratransit services are free of charge because our fixed routes are free of charge. Paratransit services also only align with our fixed route services, meaning we don't cover the entire county. We only cover where our fixed routes run. So it's a complement to the fixed route. So the same service is available to individuals with disabilities as it is to the general public, mirroring our fixed routes. The other great thing about paratransit, besides being free of charge, is that it's a guaranteed trip. Unlike Bigo, which is open to anybody and everybody, if we do not have availability, that trip could potentially be denied. But paratransit is a guaranteed trip as long as you book the trip the day before. And that is covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act. In order to be a paratransit customer, you do need to fill out an application, which those are available online. You can call customer service. We can mail it to you. We can email it to you. Any way that you want to obtain that application. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to process your application. And once it's processed, the eligibility is good for 5 years. So you only have to do it once every 5 years. We'll mail out a letter to let you know if you've been accepted, and you'll get an ADA paratransit card that you'll need to show the driver when you travel. All of our vehicles are mobility aid accessible, even our minivans, our cutaways, and our larger buses. They all have ramps and lifts to accommodate anybody who needs the bus to be lowered, or can't walk up a step, or are in a wheelchair, or have a cane. The next question we get all the time is, when do you operate? So Butler County Regional Transit Authority, our standard hours on our regional routes, our Bigo and BCARE, is Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Unfortunately, as of right now, we do not have any weekend services except up in Oxford at Miami University, and we do run a Saturday service at our Middletown Transit Station in Middletown. So I said earlier that public transit is confusing. It's not something that we grow up with. We don't use it to get to school or to navigate around, but it's great once you learn how. But where do you start? And that's another question we get all the time too, is I have no idea where my bus stop is. How do I get on the bus? How does the bus driver know that I need to get off at a stop? We have all sorts of great resources for you. So the first one, at the end of the day, you can always call customer service. We are here from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., able to answer your questions, help you find your nearest bus stop, and help you plan your route. With technology, of course, there's lots of apps available. Before we get into the apps, I will say I'm a little old school. I am still a Google Map girl. I think it's fantastic. You get on Google Maps. Where are you? Where do you want to go? And up at the top, there's a little bus icon. And I'll show that to you later in the presentation. And it'll show you exactly where your bus stop is and then how to get to your route. The other option that we have available is the Transit app. You can download the Transit app. It's free on Google Play, on the Apple Store. Transit app is fantastic because it shows you all your real-time information. So it, just like a GPS, it knows exactly where you are and will tell you where your closest bus stop is. Everything will pop up and show you what's available and how long until your next bus arrives. It also has trip planning in there, which is great to use. I think I've just grew up on the Google Maps, so I still do that. But Transit is a phenomenal app to use. We also have trip planning on our website. If you have any questions, that's a great resource. All of our information is available at www.butlercountyrta.com. And then we also have a buzz tracker. I know there's some people that are familiar with that out there, and that's just a real-time bus tracking app that you can look and it'll navigate and show your bus moving along its routes. We also have some apps that are available for our Bigo and Paratransit services. So we do encourage you to call customer service to book your trips. But if that is not working out or you're not comfortable with that, you can use our apps. And we'll talk more about that too. So this is what the transit app looks like. So if you go into the Google store or the Apple store, here's what you're looking for, the little green icon, that's the transit app. It is, if you are a traveler, it is a worldwide used app for transit systems. Cincinnati Metro is on there, Uber's on there, Lyft is on there. So it's a great navigational tool. This is the Google Maps that I was telling you about. So you have the option, of course, to put in your day, your time, when you're wanting to depart, and it'll show you, it'll pop up and show you the routes that are available, and it'll list out every stop that you have to make to be able to get to your bus stop. And the last thing that I talked about was our website. So this is our website address, and we do have a trip planner on there. Again, if you're uncomfortable and you feel like, I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, I want to make sure I'm catching the bus and I'm doing what I need to do, customer service is always available. I don't have a slide about this, but we also offer free travel training services. So anybody who wants to learn how to use the public transit, how to navigate the system, how, from getting to the bus stop to getting onto the bus, to signaling the driver when you pull the cord, and being able to get off at your bus stop, we offer free travel training services. And those are good for fixed routes, our Bigo, and our BCARE system. And that is open to the general public also. So that's kind of public transit in a nutshell. We do have resource guides and available. We have them here at the library. We have them available at the courthouse, just throughout the city, at the Butler County Visitors Bureau. Hamilton City has them. So we have resources out and about available to you in many different forms. Oh, I should have got that up here. Oh, sorry. Okay, there we go. Questions. So I kind of just ran through that kind of quickly, I know. But are there any questions out there or any particular things that I didn't cover that you might be interested in knowing?
All right. Hi, Sean, I have a question that was on the slide about Bigo.
Yes.
It said that Bigo wasn't available because of the driver shortage.
Yes, you are right, and I'm sorry. I talked over that because that is no longer true, and I apologize. So we did have to suspend our Bigo for a little while. We were in a driver shortage from March to I think probably the 1st of August, we did a soft launch back into offering Bigo services. So Bigo is up and running and is available. So that is the great news that we are back. We've been trying to just go about it a little slowly, not making a huge announcement, but if people are calling in, they're able to get their trips booked. And I just want to say again that Bigo, you can, because we're public transportation, we don't prioritize trips. So this isn't just for medical, this isn't just for school, this isn't just for work. You can book trips for whatever you want, to shop, to see friends, to go to the movies, whatever the case may be. So I really want to just kind of bring that home because I think a lot of people get the impression that it is only for particular services, or the services are only available to certain parts of our population, and that is not true at all.
And I thought you had some surveys and things circulating. Are those still out there, and how can people participate if they would like to?
So right now that part is closed, but there is going to be another round in the fall. So if you're interested in, we are undergoing what we call a short range planning study, and it's a market analysis of our current system. So BCRTA has not done this before, so it's a very exciting project for us. It's a year-long project, so there's lots of involved with doing this, but it is analyzing our current system and then looking at all of this wonderful data and determining where we would be most effective. So we did a public engagement piece in the spring, and then there will be another one again in the fall. And the fall one will be, I believe, we do have a company that's conducting this study for us, but that will be centered around scenarios that they are suggesting that we use. So we'll be looking for feedback on the new routes and the different scenarios that they're going to present to us. So that'll be very exciting. So we're hoping to have that. Let's see, we're heading into September. So I would say later in September, early October, I believe that's on the schedule for.
Sounds good. And is there anything else that you would like to say in closing before I switch the camera to me and give my closing?
I would just like to say in closing that if you haven't tried public transportation and you're curious, give it a try. It's a fantastic service. Again, it's free of charge, so you can't beat that. It's very relaxing. Everybody just gets on the bus. They have on their headsets. They're on their computer. It's a great way to get some extra work done. Our bus drivers are a wealth of information. If you're not sure about something, just ask. Like I said, nobody's born with the knowledge. Nobody just knows how to ride instinctively. So if you're not sure if you're on the right route, or you're not sure, you know where you want to go, but maybe you don't know what the stop is, that's what the driver is there for. They're more than happy to help you with that. So I say give it a try, and you might be pleasantly surprised.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you.
I agree with Sean. I also use public transportation. I have used public transportation here in Butler County, but I've also used it in New York and in LA. And I agree with everything she said about it being a very relaxing way to get to work or get wherever you need to go. Like, you don't have to worry about traffic when you're just reading a book on your way. That's really nice. And it's a great way to get around. So my name is Amanda Chafin. I am the Public Services Librarian here at the Lane Community Technology Center. This has been a live stream. I'm not going to post it immediately to YouTube. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at the Tech Center or reach out to Sean at the Butler County Regional Transit Authority. But after some light editing, I am going to post this to our YouTube. So thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.